I look like a whore? Tell me more, tell me more. All right.
There are some songs in that movie you cannot put out again.
Oh, listen.
Tell me more, tell me more. Did she put up a fight? That's a line from the song.
Yeah, that one ain't getting released.
Yeah.
I mean, they're making an outrage about the Christmas song.
Yeah, I know.
So, baby, it's cold outside.
Oh, wait, hold on. I got to get something. Shit.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Throwing off the rhythm already.
We're leaving this in. We're live. We should just fucking start it. Welcome to the Sofa Kingdom Podcast with your hosts, Ian.
Ed.
We are here. The squad is ready. We have our hors d'oeuvres. Oh, awesome.
Did you motherfuckers really start it without me? You know what?
Nice of you to join us.
That's how I guess we're leaving the room. Nelson is
We
here.
have a guest. Nelson. Welcome.
Nelson.
yeah.
Nelson.
Yeah.
Nelson, nice of you to be here.
Oh, thank you for inviting me to what I believe is my house.
Welcome.
Thank you. No,
Good
thank
to
you.
have you.
I appreciate it, guys. Next time I'll make sure that I'm punctual at the place that I live.
It's okay, you know? It's all right.
Stepped away for 2 seconds, and you guys start the whole podcast.
Oh, you know,
without
hey,
me.
we have a schedule.
Oh, yeah, okay, all right. You know what? Go ahead, Ian. Follow your lead.
So, Cleopatra.
Well, anyway, back to less controversial. No, please tell us more. What's going on?
What's controversial about making a documentary?
With Miss Cleo?
Wrong.
When a government sues you, you did something wrong.
Oh,
fucked up.
shit. Did
You
they do
fucked
like Cleopatra, like, call me now?
No, they did back. Oh, no. They might as well have at this point.
That's what they did.
The lowest Rotten Tomatoes score I've ever seen.
Did they miss
Ever seen.
Cleo?
Actually,
Cleopatra?
They did.
if they would have brought that lady somehow to where it is and did that, I would have watched it. I would have been all in.
They would have been like, all right, this is a parody. So what exactly happened with the directorial way that they went about making this Netflix? Is it a documentary or is it a
They call it
movie?
a documentary,
Yeah,
but it's not.
It's supposed to be a documentary.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe by race she was Macedonian
and Greek.
and Greek.
Yes.
Now they casted a black actress to play her, and then when they were asked about it, they said, "Well, she's culturally black," in which the Egyptian said she's culturally Egyptian,
Right.
and she should be someone from the Macedonian Greece race to play, not someone who's black.
Because while Egypt is on the continent of Africa,
Yes.
it's kind of also Middle Eastern. It's not
Okay.
necessarily.
And Egypt is one of these countries that is very, very peculiar about their history.
Yes.
They completely keep it controlled. They only really allow freedom for archaeologists that are Egyptian. And if you're not towing the line, the government straight takes you off the project.
Right. They're one of these places that their historied belief system will not be changed. Even if there is proof to change what they had once believed, they're very adamant on saying, hey, this is the way that we discovered it. This is what it is. And we're going to base the new facts off of what supports that.
Well, if they stumbled upon some kind of monumentous evidence that
Right.
said, okay, Cleopatra is African,
Right.
by all means,
Right.
make your documentary.
Yeah.
But we have paintings.
Right.
We have coins.
Yep.
We have busts. We have statues. From the time period that all show she's Macedonian.
Yeah.
And
Is
we also
everyone
have
throughout history lying? Even the Egyptians and Romans?
because we
Right.
also have accounts exactly from the Romans who had dealt with her. So it's not like this
This isn't a whitewashed painting of Jesus.
This isn't a person who we only know by name on the wall without any visual representation. We have visual representation, and we have representation from multiple countries that they had dealt with because she was in charge. She wasn't just the regular person about town.
She was head honcho.
Exactly. So to put out a documentary
Right.
Quotations, air
And in
quotes.
this day and age, to be inaccurate, when people are angry about you being inaccurate about comic book characters
Right.
or race swapping of any kind
Or your elves.
anywhere, yeah,
Disney.
to do a
Mermaids.
documentary and essentially race swap somebody, I don't know where they thought they were going to get away with it.
Unless sometimes some people like to lean into controversy in order to get those views. Some people
Well, they got the
lean in
views,
hard.
and they got themselves a 1% review.
But even with a 1% review, I'm now intrigued hearing this to go back, throw it on, and at least watch a little bit of it to
how
be
shitty
like,
it really is.
what the fuck is going on over here?
Well, the director's defense wasn't very good. I mean,
No.
Right.
She cited, basically, when given the opportunity to apologize, she just said, like, well, Hollywood has made this shit before, and she cited Genghis Khan, where the John Wayne played Genghis
Right.
Khan, who's obviously Mongolian, not Tom
and
Wayne.
they talked like this the
The
whole time.
movie. Yeah,
Tom
right.
Cruise? Tom Cruise? Last Samurai?
Yeah.
Did she bring
No, actually, well, Tom Cruise in The Last Samurai didn't play a Japanese man. He was a white man who went there to train the military.
He played the mother of all cultural appropriators, right? Because he moved in with the samurai, gave up on his own people to become a samurai.
Well, his people gave
Fought
up.
with the samurai.
Well,
His people gave
Right.
up on him.
To be fair, in The Last Samurai, he hated his own people because
did.
he was there at the massacre of Wounded Knee.
Yes.
He was
Correct.
there when his people murdered the
Correct.
Native Americans. He never forgave his people for that.
Correct.
And he found peace and serenity in the mountains of
Now,
Japan.
and Japan is interesting
that
because
movie.
with
God
that
damn
famous
it.
line, it's like, what is it about your own people that you hate so much?
yeah, and if you actually go through the history of samurai in Japan, there's several of accounts of people coming from outside of Japan and rising through the ranks because they approach themselves culturally as the way the Japanese would. And as long as you come to them that way, they won't look at you necessarily as being Japanese, but they will treat you like anyone else.
Right.
That's Japanese.
There's even accounts of that famous African
The-
samurai.
an
yeah.
African American samurai, and he
Well,
rose
not
all the way
even
up to
American.
like
Not even African American. Legit
just
from
African,
Africa.
and he
yeah.
rose to like the right hand man of the emperor or
He
some
sat-
shit like that.
He actually supposedly sat on the court of war for Nobunaga Oda, one of the most famous
That's
warlords in
pretty
history.
sick.
Yeah.
So they're over there. They're more than happy to, if you embrace their culture and respect it.
Right.
They're like, come on aboard.
The only person
look
that
at all the top sumo wrestlers.
Yeah.
They're not Japanese.
Not
They're
anymore.
Mongolian.
the
There's
only
a lot
people that the
yeah.
samurai don't like is Hawkeye. For whatever reason, after that Thanos snap, Hawkeye's like, fuck the Japanese. I'm
is
going
true.
after
He-
the Yakuza.
He
Like,
killed a suspicious amount of
he
Japanese.
did, like,
He-
and for
yeah.
no reason. It's like the world is gone to shit.
He just
and you're
targeted
like,
one particular group of
I'm
people.
gonna focus on these people right here. as the
Purple Man
Ronin.
snap killed the Japanese.
Yeah.
What's
It made no
going
sense.
on
It made
here?
no sense. It made no sense.
So anyway, I guess the point of this is, I guess we should probably reevaluate what we call a documentary.
Yes.
Like if Hollywood,
Yeah.
because let's be fair, Hollywood is, they're a bunch of fuck ups. They've done some messed up shit in the past
Yes.
with a lot of. In fact, if you look at a lot of roles that they did before the '60s, racist shit out there. I mean, it's
Yeah.
downright wrong in some of the castings they did.
But you know what? The only problem is with it being a documentary and is that new scientists come up with, or archaeologists or people in different fields try to come up with different theories based off of their findings.
Yep.
And it'll make it a little harder for them in the future to say, hey, here's a different way of looking at something you've looked at with some actual facts behind it, right?
Yep.
I think that's where it'll kind of teeter into a problem for somebody who's like, hey, here's my thoughts behind my findings, even though you looked at it this way from
Yeah.
this perspective.
Well, the trailer didn't even offer any information to support it. The trailer
Nah.
even had a clip of an older lady, and she goes, "My grandma always told me when I was in school, don't listen to what they teach you. Cleopatra was black." I'm like, oh, well, that settles it.
and done.
because your old senile grandma told
Right.
you, well, shit, you know?
Right.
If you're coming from the story from that perspective, yeah, their trailer needed to be like, here's the evidence that we're basing this off of,
Which there was...
to draw in people to go, oh, this changes some things. Let me go watch.
Right. If I come up with a documentary tomorrow and I cast fucking Tom Hanks as Genghis Khan,
Right.
I would not be surprised if Mongolia sues me.
Yeah,
Because, I mean, you can't do that.
I believe they banned like Graham Hancock from Egypt as well. Did they
Yes,
not? Like
'cause-
because he had
What
some
did Graham-
contradictory
what did Graham do?
beliefs as to what these people in Egypt
Well,
were
here,
saying
and,
for years.
And now what's interesting about him is he has legitimate evidence, and he's saying that actually Egypt's culture and history goes back longer than they think. So he's like, we can show the evidence that the things we're looking at on top was built on larger monoliths, and then on larger monoliths, even so below that, that
Right.
they actually need to push their history back farther than what they're thinking, because the weather erosion around some of these monuments is from rain.
Yeah,
And
the
last
Middle
time,
East is not known for their tolerance or understanding.
so he's like, the
Right.
last time there was
Sorry.
rain
Yep.
was 10,000 years back farther than what you guys are thinking it is.
So they rode dinosaurs to build the pyramids.
So here's
hey, brontosaurus.
the problem with
They were all black.
the problem is most people don't realize
Brontosauruses?
carbon dating is they find something at the site that was alive, because you can't carbon date rock. So they might find straw, hay, seeds, grass, whatever,
Something.
that they could say this was something, or a person's remains, and they can date those things. But that doesn't say how old it was. That just says how old the last living person that was there was.
Right.
So in some of these places, they've gone to dig deeper, and they've found remains that would be thousands of years even older than what the initial remains were. So like, look, if we keep going back, we'll keep finding more.
Right.
But if you don't allow us to go back and do these
why
things,
would Egypt push back against that? Why would they not want to accept?
because
like,
they want to tell their story.
Right.
What if it's like wrong?
They don't care about being wrong. They want to tell their story.
Okay, well, shit.
You know, look,
And I
it's,
guess they are just as bad as the director that
And
made this
it's,
fucking
it's, it's as
documentary.
old as time. Consider what the Romans did, right? When the Romans started taking over, they were keeping what they wanted and then burning the rest. The Library of Alexandria, for example. They were coming through and saying, we are the history now.
Rome was
Whatever was
petty.
here before us,
Rome was
gotta
petty,
go.
petty.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
when they conquered Carthage, they sowed the earth with salt so nothing would ever grow there again.
Yeah.
That's fucking
That's
petty.
fucking
There's,
low.
there's entire
Yeah.
there's entire cultures that we didn't know
Who took the time to do
that
that?
there was actual writing for, because all the books were burned.
Yes.
What was it? Is it the Mayans or the Incans, where they have a pictogram style language, and they didn't realize it was a language until they found like a handful of manuscripts left over, and they go, oh, these things is actually how they told their language. It was told through story,
Right.
and not the way we normally do it. But since everything was essentially burned and we only have like 3 or 4 books left,
Right.
it's so difficult to decipher. We don't have a Rosetta Stone for some of those things. We wouldn't even have Egyptian language down, Old Egyptian, if it wasn't for the Rosetta Stone, where we had, you know,
Who
the
found
Old
that, by the way? Was
Egyptian,
it- was
and
it
then
the-
like Greek, and then something else, where we're like, we got these two.
Rosetta found it.
We know these two. So what? It was found in Rosetta, not Rosetta found it.
Wasn't
Rosetta found
Napoleon's,
it, bro.
wasn't
Come on.
Napoleon's army or something found it?
I think it was, and they actually they realized the value of it, and when they took it, they took plaster molds of it, and they either them or the next people that had got it took plaster molds and sent it out to linguists all over the world, because they're like, this is clearly something.
Right. And
Yeah.
Somebody needs to
a
figure
lot
it
of
out.
those tablets said vote for Pedro.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Napoleon Dynamite.
It was foretold. It was foretold.
But it's not uncommon for science to be stuck because the current incumbents won't allow new information, because that undoes 30, 40, 50 years of their life's work
Right.
to bring in the next person's ideas, even if it's proving them wrong.
People don't want to be, found as being wrong. Like if you built your whole scientific career
Yeah.
on one theory, and some guy comes along with evidence that
and
your
then
shit was wrong,
proves it wrong. You just spent
you kind of look like an
50
asshole.
You
50
really do.
years of your life being wrong.
Instead
Books,
of- instead of-
lectures, all
Yeah.
horse shit.
Instead of looking at it just like, hey, this was right with the evidence I had in front of me that was presented in front
Yep.
of me. Now it's time for a change, which is how we should all look at things.
Yep.
some people really get hell bent on, especially if they're still alive and they're still running the show and they're like the biggest name in their government. They're gonna push back. They don't want to lose their job. They don't want to lose their life's work, and that's understandable. But also, you have to look at it.
You got to
more
move out of the way.
objectively.
You got to move out of the way when you're being proven wrong. And idealistically, that's the way science works.
Yeah.
Somebody
If you
comes
want to
in
progress it.
with the new
Right.
evidence, and you go, "Fuck!
Yeah.
All right."
You hear that, Shay? Xbox is the better system.
No,
you
Shay,
need
don't.
to
Shay.
move out of the way
Shay, dig in.
because PlayStation is shit. Eddie said it here first. I'm just going along with what Eddie said.
Look at the sales. Look at the sales.
Poor Ian, he looks at me. He's like, "Please,
PlayStation's
leave my
been
brother alone."
Crushing it the last like 3-4
No, they have.
months.
Yeah.
Now,
They have.
now that they finally
I don't know what
caught
the
up
fuck for.
Yeah.
with manufacturing, console sales wise, they've been going pretty damn strong the last like 3-4 months.
I know it doesn't have anything to do with Chained Echoes, which, by the way, you need to fucking play more of.
Yeah. Is it good?
Oh
You
my
liking
God,
it?
yes, I can't.
Yeah, I
put it
started
down.
it. I enjoyed
I
it.
can't put it down.
But I gotta
That's the
get
best
back into
$20
it.
I've spent in a long fucking time.
Oh, that's what's up. That's
Yeah.
what's up. No, man,
I'm in disbelief that one guy made it. I cannot fucking believe that one guy did it. It's unbelievable.
The strength of a singular vision. Look, one guy made Minecraft.
I mean,
really?
it has to have a sequel.
Minecraft, the original game, was made by one dude. He sold it to Microsoft for billions. The man made a shitload of money and then just went, bye-bye.
I would.
He's
too,
getting his
man.
dick sucked right now by girls we can't even talk
yeah,
to.
like surrounded by Minecraft pillows.
Right now.
He's got that Minecraft money. He's got like fake Minecraft swords in his house. Like,
Oh
yeah.
my God. No. And Minecraft might be fake, but the pussy that guy's getting is real. I assure you that. Billions of dollars.
Jesus,
Jesus
yeah.
God.
That's fucking
We need
crazy.
to come up with an idea.
Yeah, all right.
Like
Let's
a
do it.
podcast.
Someone here needs to learn computer programming.
All right. Well, Ian,
I'm
on
looking
you.
at this guy.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, Ed, we'll be the idea guys.
Ed, get us rich.
Yeah, and you be the guy that does the computing. Yeah, build us an IBM.
Well, I think right now what you want to be is Apple.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
man,
nobody
Apple's-
wants to be an Android.
Fuck that, dude. A guy got arrested because
Most
his
of
phone
the
called
world
the
uses
police on him.
Android. Just,
Yeah,
you know,
this is true. The what?
most of the world actually uses Android.
Yeah, they give them out for free in third world countries. They just drop them out of planes. And they
Fuck,
fucking,
which is ironic because Apple is made in third world countries.
Oh, yeah.
which is why they don't sell it there. They sell it.
Right. Because
To
the
the
employees that make it for
Americanos.
25 hours a day
Yeah,
can't,
that's
can't
right.
afford it.
It's like, you guys can't use this. Give me that. What are you gonna do?
They
with
just,
that?
They're
they just
not-
jump off the
We don't
roof
want
at
you
the end of the
staring
day.
at your phone all day. You gotta work.
They're
You
not
gotta
allowed
work.
to leave the
Here.
facility.
Have
What do you
an
mean
Android.
own
It's
it?
a piece
They
of
gotta
shit.
surround the factory with fucking trampolines so when people jump off the roof, they bounce back into the building.
Their break rooms have PlayStation, so they walk in. They're like,
You-
"What the fuck am I supposed to do here?
You stretch
I'm
the
going back to
safety
work."
net. Back to work. 3 more years.
Yeah. Fuck, man, that's fucking trash. All right, so what movie? Speaking of like computers and the AIs, we seen a trailer for a good movie that
The creator.
the creator. It actually looks like a legit
Came
high
out-
budget
came out of nowhere.
The
sci-fi.
CGI
I never even
in
heard of
the
it.
trailer looks phenomenal.
The story looks really good. It looks like almost like a different take on like a Terminator's without the traveling through time.
Or
It's like
iRobot.
robots versus humans.
Yeah, a little
like
more of an
iRobot.
iRobot.
Yeah.
It looks like they already have some level of AI, and they're not necessarily all bad or all good. Just
Right.
like people,
Right.
they vary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're fighting for their space. It looks like their place in the planet, but it looks like a planetary war. Humans versus AI. I don't know if they're completely AI or modded AI or modded people.
I want to say that they're probably a partial AI, excluding the child, who is probably a full legitimate AI, and that's the one that's a threat.
Right. Hence the creator.
Well, all I know is as soon as this AI comes out and modifications are available, I'm jumping on board.
Listen, Amazon is
I'm
already
on board.
selling robotic maids that you can buy for your house.
How flexible are they?
I didn't check the flexibility index
God
on
damn it.
there, but yeah, they're looking to start selling those pretty shortly to people's in their houses.
Jeff Bezos is going to be able to access the visual data. I don't want him seeing
Yeah.
just my balls hitting the
Yeah.
camera.
It's a race. It's a race at this point. Any company that's looking to do something with the future and is anywhere near dealing with computers in any way, shape, or form, they know to remain relevant, they gotta be doing something with AI. Whether they're partnering with somebody to help them or they're the ones creating it, you gotta do something because it is, automation knocked out a lot of blue collar jobs. Proper general AI is gonna knock out white collar jobs. That's gonna be a whole different thing when you're knocking out jobs not from the lower class who don't have power when things go bad, but when you're knocking out jobs from the middle class to the upper middle class,
Yeah.
that's going to upset some real people that might, actually have the power to say something.
So this is it. It's called Astro. It looks like
Man, that shit can't clean the house. Fuck that.
Roomba/dog.
That's the
with
maid.
a tablet face.
That's the maid.
This
Listen.
is the maid.
It needs to be able to. No.
This
You
is
said
it.
maid.
No.
Oh yeah, no,
You
no.
said maid, not Roomba.
No,
Listen.
I said Rubbermaid. So this is where
No, it needs to scrub the toilet and cook some food
And rub my back.
clean and put away laundry. If it could do those things, fuck yeah.
it works with
That gets rid of
Alexa.
all the bullshit in the house.
Oh my god, if it can fold laundry.
If it could do the laundry, if it could clean the bathroom, and it can cook food, that's it. That's the three things that cleans up like 8 hours of your day when you get home.
This is
Yeah.
basically a robotic dog, essentially. That's
I'm
and
not
it follows
for
you
this.
around.
I was hoping it would have high heels.
Look at that shit. That's fucking crazy.
All right, fuck that.
Oh,
It's
that
gotta-
is fucking
Now
wild.
that's a spy camera.
Yeah,
that's
a spy cam. You know what that is? That's
can't
like
even get away from it.
jealous boyfriend at work. Like, I wonder what my girl's doing. I'm gonna send the dog robot into the bedroom.
Yeah.
Put up the old camera. Hey, what are you doing?
Yeah, and then when you catch your neighbor banging your wife, you just trigger the self-destruct on the fucking maid. and
Well,
blow
that's
it
when
up.
you take that camera stick and you bend it, and then you just charge.
Just tickle his ass with it. Hey, your Roomba maid's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, it really helped me hit that
I
spot.
now have video proof. Sending cops.
No, I don't know. But I'm definitely going to get on board. Cybernetic enhancements.
Yeah, because look, when we were kids, we were watching like the Jetsons, right? That was like the epitome of the future.
Yeah.
And what was
nice
her name?
futurist,
Rosie?
Nice futuristic
Rosie
white
the robot.
family.
Rosie the robot. Everybody wants a Rosie, right? Come on.
That's true.
That's essentially it.
There wasn't a lot of ethnic diversity in Hanna-Barbera's future. You notice that? Did you guys notice that?
I mean, there absolutely wasn't. I mean, there was actually more talking dogs than there were minorities in Hanna-Barbera's future. Same thing with the Flintstones.
That's true. There wasn't. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yes. There's a theory that what happened was the Flintstones and the Jetsons lived in the same time period. Just the poor people
Were on the bottom.
on the bottom, and the rich people were in the air, which is why some of their technology
Doesn't make
was
sense.
more
Yeah.
advanced for being in the Stone Age.
It's the Re-Stone Age. It's like after World War IV,
Yes.
the ground got destroyed. We need our cities in the air, and whoever fucking survives on the ground.
This is dark.
You got all these giant mutant dinosaurs
This is
running
dark.
around.
You just ruined my
I
childhood.
like that though. I like this family.
Now, right? It fucks with you. Like you think about it, you're like, fuck, man.
They
that-
did have a crossover with the Flintstones and the Jetsons before.
There you go, right there. You know what I mean?
Hanna-Barbera created both of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All of the old cartoons were essentially run through
Yogi
Hanna-Barbera.
Bear.
Yeah.
Yogi Barbera.
Yeah, he was the
yeah.
Dave Filoni of Yabba Dabba Doos.
The Gendy Tarkovsky.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh. Oh, okay. So who's Thrawn? Admiral Thrawn
Yes.
is going to be played by Benedict Cumberbatch.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
I'm not even gonna begin.
No,
describe how
Benedict
bad that was
Cumberbatch.
As long as they don't ask him to say penguin, he'll be okay.
Yeah.
Listen, Benedict Cumberbatch can play anything. Smog the Dragon, Khan Noonien Singh. That guy can fucking
Yeah.
act. His
But
Doctor
he's
Strange.
going to get the chance to play a real villain.
Yes.
So I'm curious to see how this goes.
Excuse me, Khan Noonien Singh is not a villain?
I mean, yeah, he was a villain, but like Admiral Thrawn is probably one of the most methodical cartoon villains.
He's
that I have
the
seen.
guy behind. Wait, is he going to be live action or?
Oh no, this
He's
is
live
for
action.
live action. I think he's going to be in Ashoka.
He's going to be in Ahsoka,
Yeah.
it looks like.
I think he'll nail it.
Because she's looking for
Yeah.
Thrawn.
I think he'll
Because
nail
Thrawn
it.
was last seen with, what's his name, the Jedi
Yeah.
kid.
I was super excited when they brought him on as Doctor Strange. I was like, that's a legit like Oscar worthy
Oh, yeah.
actor. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
like that's that dude can act his way out of anything.
You know, okay, so speaking of actors in the Marvel universe, right? As far as your villains are concerned, after seeing you saw the Guardians, right?
I was yeah.
who would you say are your top 3 villain actors in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
I mean, he was wasted, but Christian Bale could have been fantastic as Gore. It was wasted, but he could have been fantastic.
Yeah.
The guy that just played the
High Evolutionary?
Yes.
Man,
Oh my
he was
God.
so good.
Very unsettling.
They could have had Gore not lose in the Thor movie, and then moved him into being the villain in Guardians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they could have.
You wasted a fucking fantastic actor
I agree.
and didn't put him in enough.
He's a serious power level threat, but like I had said, they would have had to scale up Thor, and then the only thing Thor has left to fight at that point are Celestials.
Yeah.
Right,
Once
so
you
where do
hit
you-
Rune King
Right.
Thor,
But
Where do you
going
go
with
with
Christian
Thor from
Bale
that
as your
point?
first choice?
Christian,
Marvel?
Christian Bale, the High Evolutionary dude that just knocked
Yes.
it out of the park in Guardians, and then I guess I would just go with Brolin as
Okay.
Thanos. I mean, he was good.
I'm gonna go
he
with-
was good.
William Dafoe as the Green Goblin.
Yeah.
Fantastic villain.
He is that character.
He goddamn right he
He
is.
is that character.
I have to say, High Evolutionary, man.
Yeah.
His performance fucking knocked it out the park.
He made me. I believed he was like a
Yes.
sociopathic.
Michael
completely-
Keating as the Vulture wasn't bad either.
No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. But like,
He was
he
very.
Like, was he villain?
No, but he seemed very real in what he was doing. Like, yeah,
He did like when
like
he started.
life got turned to shit because Iron Man's company came in, started saying, and you're just doing whatever you got to survive, and then you're 10 years down the road and you're the villain now,
Yeah.
and you're just trying to keep your fucking family
And when
together.
he's-
You
he-
feel like Spider-Man's a threat to your family.
He's like driving him to Homecoming. He's looking in the rearview mirror. He's
Yeah.
starting to
Yeah,
decipher. He's like,
yeah.
wait a minute, this motherfucker is Spider-Man.
I mean, I would have to say Thanos. The guy that played Thanos
Brolin.
was amazing. But if I didn't go with him, just for sake of argument, so that we're all not picking him because he was a great villain, and probably the best trilogy Marvel has ever put out, I would say Shang-Chi, the father.
Ooh, he was good.
He played like a villain
he
that
did.
you can almost feel bad for. You can almost respect him, even though like he was a villain, but he was
Yeah.
a villain not for all of the wrong reasons per se either. He was just like, I learned the error of my ways. I just want to live on the mountains with my wife, and then y'all motherfuckers send the Yakuza to kill my family. Everybody's gonna die now. Everybody's gonna die. That's what you fucked up. You fucking John Wicked him.
I don't know. Shang-Chi, I think it just missed the mark for me. I don't know.
Really, I loved Shang-Chi, and I think I'm always been a huge fan of martial arts movies, and it had a very Jackie Chan
It's taken a
feel.
long ass time to see him back on the screen though. At this point,
Yeah, and I think for a reason. I think they wanted something successful to hit, and then they changed. And I think Guardians of the Galaxy set the tone for like Marvel's finally, okay, we're back.
yeah.
Now they just can't fuck it up.
Well,
Their next couple
yeah,
of
they
things
can.
really need to hit. No, they can.
They can.
Oh, they can. But they really need to hit. And they're going to be dropping Loki. They're going to be dropping Secret Invasion. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that they said about the Secret Invasion is that it's an adult series.
Yeah.
They're like, this isn't for the kids. It's
so
Samuel
we're
Jackson.
gonna see Samuel Jackson.
It's going to
naked.
be dark. It's going to be riveting. It's going to be dramatic. And that's what they're going
you
for,
think-
the tone that they're
Do
setting.
you think they're going to give Sammy there some level of power? They keep showing his weird eye for some reason versus giving him the eye patch.
He's stuck in Infinity Stone in there.
I've seen some people like, does he have some level of forethought?
No.
That
They
they're
might have some
implying
technology with the eye.
or something that's going on here, which is a little funny, but because he's never had anything in the
No,
comics.
no,
He was just always a brilliant tactician in the
yeah,
comics.
yeah. He was just like a Black Widow.
Yeah,
like
the spy
an
of
ultimate
spies.
spy. Yeah.
He had all the secrets, so he could calculate what was coming next.
Yeah. So, I mean, so they got a couple of good things in the pipeline. The only one that's questionable to me, and it could hit, is the Marvels
DC's gonna suck. I know that.
until James Gunn fully takes over.
Yeah.
DC, I think is dead in the water. I don't think this Flash movie is gonna be anything.
And I'm
The
hearing that it's
problem-
one of the best superhero
The problem
movies.
is
But here's the thing. Here's
we
the thing.
all
From who?
know. We all know the next several movies from DC don't mean fuck all until James Gunn does something. We know it. So everyone we go to see, we're like, wow, that means nothing. It means nothing.
Same with The Flash. I think it's gonna mean nothing.
This was filmed before Gunn was in charge, before they started trying to put a vision to what was all happening and reset everything.
They're putting this out because Ezra Miller has dirt on the studio.
It seems like it.
He does. He probably still has one of the corporate executives, like family members, locked
Somebody
in a
touched
basement
them.
or something.
Somebody
like
in
that.
corporate touched that man.
He has a video of him sucking off a CEO.
Yeah, he does. Or two, maybe two
Maybe
at the same time. Yeah,
And that's why there's two.
It's like, it's
Ezra
me,
Miller.
Flash and Reverse Flash.
And I want Michael Keaton. I want Michael Keaton didn't want to be there.
What if it is Michael Keaton? Dun dun dun. Look, all I'm saying is once James Gunn takes the reins, I'd be really interested to see his direction and where he's going with it. We have some idea, but he's always been fantastic with mapping things out and putting things together.
He's being handed a literal dumpster fire.
He is. So,
Like,
really,
I do not envy him.
Really,
at all.
he has to do is go up from shit. Like, he's way down here. His level of expectation is like, save us, please. Make a good movie.
In Spider-Man 2, where Tobey Maguire had to stop the train.
Yes.
With his web.
Yes.
That's James Gunn right now. But he not only has to stop the train,
Yes.
he needs to turn it around and get it going in the opposite direction.
I feel you. And
How
the fans,
how does he do that?
the fans of the New Yorkers that carry him back into the train.
That's not going to happen. We're not. We're going to tear him apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could end up like Tom Holland trying to save the ferry,
Yeah.
and someone else had to come and save his ass because he couldn't do it.
This is
Yes.
true. This is true. Fuck
I
him.
just don't see how DC is going to be fixed because the more I see the trailers for the Flash movie, it just looks more and more like a pile of shit.
It could be one of
The
those.
CGI does not look good.
The
It does
trailers
not
are
look good.
deceiving. I'm still gonna see it.
Why are there two Flashes?
Because Earbutt
Why are there
Reverse
two
Flash.
Flashes?
Because he went to a whole different timeline.
I get it, but I mean, if
And
you run through time, oh my god.
Have you ever seen
he
the
fucked-
CW's version of the
He
Flash?
essentially fucked up bad because he ended up in a different timeline where he's still alive. That's the problem. He's in a place he's not supposed to be, and that's probably what's going to cause
Okay.
things to collapse.
Because I watched the Flashpoint Paradox, and he ran through time, and he changed the way reality was, but he didn't like run to another version of himself.
Yeah, so it is a little bit different because in Flashpoint, normally he goes back, he saves his mom, and then when he goes back to the future, the ramifications of her being alive is a whole lot of other people are dead and shit is bad.
And now there's
Right.
like a female Superman, but that's not the way it was in the Flashpoint Paradox. In the
No.
Flashpoint Paradox,
No.
Superman was in a lab, and he was weird
Right.
as shit, but he was not a female. So,
Yes.
I think they had to do that to avoid the Henry Cavill thing.
well, I think they had to do that because Ezra Miller is just. He
Is a
probably
creep.
wrote it out. He's like, oh, I want a girl. I don't know,
Imagine
man.
he had a real life twin.
I just
That
fucking-
it is a little weird because it's like Flashpoint is one of these stories that's heralded as one of the greatest.
Yes.
So it's like, why are you doing anything to diverge from what is like, the Watchmen of the Flash comic series? Like this chunk, Flashpoint. Like, why are you fucking with it?
DC has
Why are
so
you
many
just not
times,
telling the story?
But how many times has DC told us this is it?
Yeah.
We're gonna turn it around. Aquaman, hey, we're gonna turn it around. No,
Black
no,
Adam.
you didn't.
Black Adam.
Oh, man, Black Adam. You want to talk about a fucking woof? Yeah. I knew as soon as they started playing the Smashing Pumpkins, I was like, oh, this is fucking
And
over.
sh-
This
like-
is done.
Shazam, the first one, was really good. And then
Surprising.
Shazam 2, man, that
I know,
was
they-
so bad.
They can't get it right. They can't.
For
the
movies.
only thing that made me happy that was a step up was the Snyder cut.
Yeah.
They turned what was the Justice League, which was almost unwatchable. They turned it into actually a movie over 4 hours I could enjoy.
Yeah,
and
I
I was
watched it.
impressed.
All right, let's give a little love to DC because where they have done some things right, Peacemaker, right?
And the
television
standalone
series.
Batman movies with Christian Bale.
Standalone Christian Bale, but the Return of Superman, the first two were really good. The one with Henry Cavill playing Superman.
Oh, Man of Steel.
Man
Yeah.
of Steel. Those fight scenes, that CGI was flawless.
But not fucking Batman versus Superman.
No.
Oh, your mom has my name? Okay, I won't
Okay.
kill you. What the fuck is that?
Okay, the first Wonder Woman wasn't bad.
wasn't bad, but then when I start, the more I look back on it, I start to lose credit for it because the bad guy at the end of the movie, Ares, is the same CGI recycling bullshit from the Justice League movie.
Yeah.
They
Yep.
literally probably just archetyped the same model. They
Yeah.
didn't even change anything.
Yeah.
Let's make his horns bigger. Okay, his name's Steppenwolf now.
Wonder
What the
Woman
fuck?
2, it shit the bed again. Like, they seem to lose the
I watched
sequels
15
really
minutes
bad.
of Wonder Woman 2, and I turned it off. I was like, nope, not getting any more of my life. Not happening.
We had a bunch of people in my house watching it the day it came out, because that was still during the pandemic, I believe.
Yeah.
And we were here to watch it, following CDC's guidelines. Mm-hmm. And 30 feet apart, so there was only one person in the room.
Yep.
And we recorded it and sent it back through phones. But it was so bad.
That's what I heard.
And I tried to like it. Like, I'm sitting there like, it can't get any worse than the pandemic. And then Wonder Woman 1970, whatever. Fucking, man, that hurt my feelings
Yeah,
so bad.
it was bad. It was
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
They just missed. I don't think like Marvel suffers from the like you have to give creative control to whoever the hell's making the movie, and every now and then we'll get a stinker. Like I'm not even counting the Sony monstrosities with Morbius, but like every now and then we'll get a stinker like the second Doctor Strange,
Right.
where it's just a different view. It's Sam Raimi's horror view of like, but we don't get the things like Wonder Woman 2.
It's
and
weird.
Yeah.
It's almost like,
Yeah.
why can't you set up a writer's room with several of the big comic writers that wrote these comics and let them give you a outline of like, tell this story from Superman, tell this story from this, and here's how everything connects. Just hand you a little bit of a roadmap and then let the story be fleshed out afterwards.
Yeah.
Because-
with the actual, like, here's these stories from these books.
The universe is already written.
Right. It's just like
story's
anything
wrote
else. Though.
already.
It's just like anything else. The people that are in charge, the people that are spending the money, want their hand in the
Yeah.
sandbox. They want to play with their toys. And
Wanna
they
see
wanna,
that? That
they
was
wanna
my
do it their-
suggestion.
Yes. Yeah.
Put a big spider in it.
Yeah. But it always comes back to the motherfucking spider. Yeah.
Put a big goddamn spider
Fucking
in
Kevin
it.
Smith. Oh, what a great
Yeah,
story.
but that's where they go wrong, is that they deviate too far from the story to give it a little splash of what they want in there, what they think the people want, versus years and years of tried and true storylines that people are like, this is the shit that we want.
When
Just
they end
make
up
this.
destroying shit, like the new Wendy and Peter Pan movie. One, they called it Wendy and Peter Pan, so you know
Yep.
what angle they're going with.
Yeah.
Supposedly that they made Wendy like this fucking all-powerful leader person. Peter Pan's supposed to be this little like self-centered asshole, so they make Peter Pan essentially a hated character.
yeah, he's a real cunt.
Right.
Apparently, Hook was his friend and wanted to
Yes.
go see his parents, so he didn't help him go see his parents, and he ended up getting stuck on a ship and growing up on a ship with pirates because he was a child. How was he supposed to find his parents?
So Captain Hook, played by Jude Law, is the victim in this story.
yes.
God damn right.
But Wendy can like do anything. Like as a little girl, she can like fucking. Not only does she fly, but she can fight pirates and sword fight. Yes, because every young girl in England in the Victorian era can handle any kind of battle-hardened man.
That's
on
how they
the
made
road.
them. That's how they made them back
and
then.
it is.
I was like,
They grew up reading Harry Potter. You know what I mean? They're like, I could do this. If a baby can kill Lord Voldemort, I can stop pirates.
I'm sorry, but every time I watch those movies where it's like just a girl, like nothing, you know, there's the reason that men don't fight women. There's reasons behind it. But every time I watch these movies where it's just a girl just steamrolling dudes in fistfights, I'm like, oh Jesus Christ. Give
There
me
are
a
a
fucking
few
break.
that do it that where you're like, that seems legit. When Ronda Rousey was doing it, you're like, yeah,
Yeah, I
she
believe
can
it.
actually fight.
Because I've seen
That's
her
a
fight.
fucking problem.
I've seen her
The
fight.
best woman on TV that I seen kick ass that was so believable. It was an older TV show called La Femme Nikita.
Nikita.
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen, when that
The
woman was
origi-
kicking men in the face, I was like, I believe it.
Yeah.
She is fucking dudes, because she was a big
Well,
bitch.
also Xena Warrior Princess.
Xena Warrior
yes.
Princess.
Lucy Lawless was a fucking monster.
Xena Warrior Princess.
Just fucking throwing that ring and fucking knocking. I was like, oh my god.
I was all in.
I believed
was
it.
all
I was
in.
like, that woman could, and she looked mean.
Yes.
When she had that face, she's pulling out that sword. I was like, that lady whoops some ass. Like,
Yeah, I
okay.
believe it. And-
That's a good inspiration
Yes.
for girls.
And
Where the
then-
hell did that show go?
And then Wendy from the Peter Pan movie that's coming out.
no,
right?
no, definitely not. No, you can't just sprinkle some magic dust and start fighting pirates.
it
That's
really
not how
does.
It works.
It's
It
like
really
the
does-
Star Wars running scene with Baby Leia, where you're like, you're telling me they can't catch her?
Yeah.
Pull her legs out. Obi-Wan. Pull
Yeah.
her fucking whoomp. Trip. What the hell?
Yeah, no. When she was running away, and they were almost like slowing themselves down not to catch
Yeah,
her. Like,
slowing themselves down to the point where you're like, listen, you
Where were
got this isn't working.
Where were the
Yeah.
Power Rangers at? Was that Boba Fett? That was Boba Fett. Okay. when that gang showed up with different color bikes, I was like,
oh man, they were the shit. No, how about the spinning shooting scene where he was
Oh,
just like,
yeah.
did like a full 360 rotation.
To take the last
Bing! I
shot,
was
like, ooh, no.
That's how you don't do a shooting scene, a spinning shooting scene.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
you do a spinning shooting scene was in the new Guardians movie. That's how
Yeah.
you do
Fuck yeah.
a spinning
Back to
shooting
back.
scene.
That's right. He got away with that spin. It felt legit in the scene.
Oh.
And fucking Groot with like
Yeah, he was a
10
badass.
guns. I was like, oh
He was
my
a badass.
god! Like,
But
that-
where was he hiding those guns?
I don't know, but that was cool.
That was dark, bro.
In his Groot
He's
hole.
like, pull out the guns. I was like, how many guns does he have in there?
He had everything. He had them stashed all over the place.
He even had snacks. He's shooting, and he's like,
Yeah.
cinnamon roll.
Yeah.
So what did you think of the final scene in spoilers when Vin Diesel said more than "I am Groot"?
I mean,
What my interpretation was, we finally understood
As the audience, we are now in the circle of
That
people that
understands
understand Groot.
what he was saying.
because
Yes.
we were with him long enough.
I'm fine with it if it's the last Guardians. I mean, it's a love letter.
Yeah,
James
Yeah.
Gunn. James Gunn created 3 movies that none of them sucked.
Mm-hmm.
The first one was great.
Yep.
The second one was okay. It was still good.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't the best, but it was okay. The third one, I think, was the best in the series. It was a good goodbye for James Gunn and everything he's done. And
Yeah.
his series had the best soundtrack.
Yeah.
Out of all the movies, it was
was-
fine.
yeah,
I
his-
was fine. I was fine with it. I
his
was like,
soundtrack, second to none, was the best in all of the Marvel movies. But you know what? A close second.
he never put the Smashing Pumpkins in once.
No.
Never once.
A close second trilogy would have to be Iron Man, outside of the Avengers Infinity
man,
War,
I don't
'cause that
know,
was
man.
the greatest. I think the Iron Man 1, 2, and 3
I'm with you for 2.
were not bad.
I'm with you
Iron
for
Man
2.
1 was good.
Iron Man 2
My
was
bird.
1.
I
Iron
want
Man 2,
my bird.
I want my bird.
What was that,
Yeah.
part 2?
Yeah, 2.
Yeah.
That one was a little...
I liked
still-
Mickey Rooney, man.
I really did actually still enjoy
Was
it.
it Mickey Rooney or
It's-
Nick Rourke? What's his
It
name?
was Mickey
Mick-
Rourke.
Mickey
Mickey Rourke. Yeah, that
Mickey
guy.
Rooney was a fat comedian that died.
I liked him with the whole bird thing, and I
It
loved
might-
it even more that behind the scenes, the bird wasn't even actually
He
supposed to be
he
on
kept
set.
trying to force the
He
bird.
forced the bird on set. To me, that makes it even better.
I liked it because we introduced War Machine.
Yes.
Yep.
We got the double check where he shot the laser into his chest and it.
I mean,
expanded
that
everywhere.
fight
I mean,
scene
it-
between War Machine and Iron
It
Man was
reintroduced
fucking
War
great.
Machine because we got a character swap.
Yeah, we did.
Well, the
we
first
did.
guy fucking sucked. We
Yeah,
didn't want
he
him.
did.
We didn't want him as War Machine anyway.
I mean,
But
okay, what about 3?
I will not condone 3.
You hated 3?
Oh my god, that was not the Mandarin.
Okay. Yeah,
Not the
I
Mandarin.
have
No.
to agree with that. I have to agree
But they
with that.
even-
But there were some good scenes
I
in it.
think they even hinted that wasn't the real Mandarin at the end scene credit
I was
thing.
bored.
I think they kind of had like a little bit of like, oh, that's not really the guy.
Okay.
I respect your opinion.
So it's a solid 1 and 2, but 3 for you didn't do it.
yeah, I enjoyed Iron Man 2.
Okay,
I liked it. But
what about Captain America? We had 1, 2, and then third one would be Civil War, correct?
that to me that's a better trilogy than the Iron
And the
Man.
Iron
trilogy.
Man trilogy. Civil War was a fantastic,
Yeah.
If you're counting
movie.
Civil War as the third one, then yeah.
right? Wouldn't you have to? Like,
Yeah.
I think so.
Let me check
I
here.
think it is Captain America Civil War.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
pretty,
it is the
pretty
third.
sure.
Now the Thor movies, that's kind of like a quadrilogy at this point.
Yeah.
Yes.
That man's riding that train all the way home.
I mean, the second movie, the Thor: Dark World, that's one of my least favorite Marvel movies. That
It-
missed the mark.
It
Oh,
was
so
a-
the second one was the Winter Soldier,
yeah.
and then you had Captain America: Civil War, and then the original Cap. I mean,
Captain
that's a,
might-
that's
that-
a solid
It's a
trilogy
solid
right
trilogy.
there.
That's solid.
I mean, if you really think about
If
it.
you stop at Ragnarok, and maybe Thor has the best trilogy if you get out the Dark World and just go like Thor Ragnarok, and then Thor.
What's
Love and
amazing
Thunder.
is how
But the Dark World brings it down.
later
that movie was a stinker.
later
Yeah.
movies made Ragnarok important
yeah.
because of the way they tied it into with the stones and everything else like that, and little callbacks and bits and pieces here and there.
Ragnarok was so good though.
And then
Yes.
It's so good. His fucking sister crushed his hammer.
Just
Hela? The synergy between
Hela was a
the
bad
synergy
bitch.
between the Hulk and
Yeah.
Thor.
Yeah.
It was just great.
Okay.
It was a great movie. And another great soundtrack.
And then the
Led
last
Zeppelin all through it.
the last trilogy was the Ant-Man trilogy, I think. In that
Yeah,
series of
the Ant-Man and the
movies, right?
Wasp was kind of bleh.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't, to me, it was good. It was a good trilogy. It was a good family.
No outstanding
It
moments.
was a good family trilogy too.
Are the second of each of the trilogies the weakest of all the movies?
No, man, because Captain America again. That's the Winter Soldier.
Well, that's
a
what I mean.
Fucking dope
Is Winter
movie.
Soldier the weakest of Captain America 1, 2, and 3?
No, I would have
Even
to say,
though the movie's great, is
Yeah.
Captain America 1 better than Winter
no,
Soldier?
I would say Captain America 1 would be the weakest of that trilogy
that
because
trilogy.
Civil War.
It's even debatable
and
with Iron Man.
And Winter Soldier were fucking dope.
Iron Man 2 stepped it up, man.
Iron Man 2 was
good.
fucking.
It was
But
good.
Iron Man 1 and 2 were perfect movies.
They were good.
They were really, really
were
good.
good.
3 was good.
They
but it
also
wasn't
they also
great.
didn't have the weight of the whole Marvel universe on them. They were just telling an individual story.
You know,
The
which is
Eternals,
why-
the Eternals is the weakest standalone.
Which is what I
Yeah.
had said about Guardians 3. They told a story that it fits in the Marvel universe, but you don't need the Marvel universe. You didn't need to see part 1 and 2 to see part 3 and enjoy it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it gave you character arc from beginning to end where the characters progressed, they grew, you got something, and the story's all on its own. It holds up its own weight.
Right.
Yeah.
Not all the
Doctor
movies.
Strange was
Not all the movies in this last chunk here are really doing that because the movie ends with like almost a bit of a cliffhanger of like, but we know there's more coming.
Where is it going to tie into next?
Or we're expecting there more to be coming because they're not telling a tight enough story
yeah.
to kind of feel like it's a complete story as its own movie.
Outside of this Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? And let's go back a little older. The other trilogies that were really good to me, you got the Blade trilogy, right?
Yeah.
That was a solid
Yeah, it
vampire
was. It
superhero Marvel movie.
Back to the Future?
Back to
yeah.
the Future is Marvel?
No, you were talking about trilogies.
No,
We're doing
I'm talking
trilogy.
about superhero.
Jaws?
You fuckers. Superhero. You know what the fuck I was saying.
Critters? Indiana Jones?
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones is a
Woo,
solid
boy.
trilogy. That's solid, though. Where are you going? Go on, get back here. Come on, Rambo?
Hey, Star Wars.
Star Wars?
The real first trilogy.
The original trilogy.
Yeah.
The original trilogy.
Fuck you guys.
Godfather? Godfather part 1, 2, and 3?
You know what? I am no longer participating in
come
this
on.
shenanigans of a podcast.
It's fine when he's shitting on every sacred dead actor that
of
ever
course
lived.
it is.
I mean, how many trilogies really were there? It's
There
a
were
more
a few. You got the Fantastic Four. You got the X-Men trilogy. You got the Blade trilogy. Those are the original superhero trilogies
Marvel,
that
yeah.
kind of led the way for Marvel. And not to mention Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Right? That was another trilogy
Even
that
as
set
bad,
the bar higher.
As bad as the third one was.
Yeah, but 1 and 2 again really
Dancing
solid.
McGuire.
Really, really solid. But then 3 was
It's a
kind
fantastic
of a huge
meme, though.
miss.
That's the weakest villain.
Yeah.
Fucking Venom. Oh my god.
Yeah, they're doing the third movie, Venom 3, and
I'm
it's
fine
going to
with
be
that.
Venom and Spider-Man hanging together.
Which Spider-Man?
I'm not sure yet. They just showed
we
the
doing
mask
Toby?
on
We
him.
doing
Yeah, because he's in a different
I
universe.
hope they don't do Toby. I hope they go with the other motherfucker.
Andrew
Garfield. Because
Give
he
him-
said he didn't get a chance to fight an alien yet.
Yeah.
Right? Venom would be his alien.
They
That
could.
would be
It
dope.
would be
That would
dope.
be dope.
They could put Andrew in Venom's universe.
He completely made me love the character all over again for the right reasons when he
Yeah.
came back in.
That's definitely one of the top Marvel moments though, is when Tobey Maguire stepped through that portal.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
was
it
like,
definitely
oh
was.
my god.
He had, like,
oh my
He had
god.
old man Spider-Man giving wisdom and
Yeah,
shit.
Yeah. I was like, is that Toby? I was like, that's my Spider-Man.
It was dope.
That's my Spider-Man.
That was
That's
dope. And that was a solid trilogy.
Yeah.
it was.
I
It was.
mean,
as bad as the third one
As
was.
bad as the third one was, there's still moments from it that you can pick out. And by far, the best editor. What's the editor's name in Spider-Man?
Oh Jesus. Oh my God. He's at the Daily Bugle.
J. Jonah Jameson.
J. Jonah Jameson.
Come on, that was the best J. Jonah Jameson.
His laugh is legendary.
Oh, man. He had the look, the beard, the hair. I mean, it was a perfect fit. It really was. So, I mean, you can't hate on him for
No,
that.
that was the best character casting in Marvel history.
Yeah. It was.
I wonder what Stan Lee would do if he was around right now. Rest his soul. I wonder what he would do to see how big it's become.
I mean,
I mean, he got to watch it get pretty fucking huge, considering
did.
that at one point Marvel was essentially bankrupt.
yeah.
Yeah.
To go from like
Blade saved it.
feeling embarrassed that you wanted to be the next great novelist to writing and working in comics to it becoming an American industry where people looked at it like, no, these are like
Iconic
the next
characters.
great novels and characters for us. And it's become so big that the Marvel movies are tremendous.
Yeah.
That's quite a turnaround for someone who was aiming at one thing and landed in a completely different area.
Yeah, it's a shame that he got to see the trajectory, which is good.
He did. I mean, he
I wish-
cameoed in so many.
Was he around for Endgame?
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah. That had to be the culmination of everything for him.
Well, then I'm fine with it.
I think
If
he
he got
died-
to see how much joy and
That's
how
a
big,
fucking win right there.
that's
Yeah.
a win.
Yeah, 'cause
that's worth a lifetime.
I think
of
he saw
greatness.
the Eternals and passed away in the movie theater screaming.
Jesus
I think
fucking
he's like, is that
God.
Selma Hayek? Go. Gotta go.
I mean, oh my God.
I'm just saying.
Conan O'Brien must go. Yes, Conan O'Brien.
Listen,
Yeah.
one of my favorite comedians,
This actually looks like a good show.
favorite podcast host. He's just a silly motherfucker. It looks like something to watch.
It's gonna be on
definitely
what, HBO
something I
Max?
would watch.
HBO Max.
HBO Max.
HBO Max. Okay.
He just doesn't have, the burden of the Daily Show kind of over him. He's going pretty strong with the podcast, and he's going on a tour essentially to people who's called in,
Well, when you're not,
the fans that have called in.
Yeah.
well, when you're not, like you said, when you're not tied down to a network or anything that's hindering you, there's amazing what you can probably achieve.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the way to do it. And he looks like he's having fun, like legitimately just out there on somebody else's dime, getting paid to just bullshit in different
And
countries.
he brought a huge chunk of his team with him when he started doing he brought, it seems like, as many people as he could bring with him
Right.
to do the podcast. Literally, his assistant is now the co-host. And then the guy that was supposed to be just the engineer to do the podcast is also like the fucking third co-host
Yeah.
on the show as well.
I think it's Matt Gorley and Sona Obsession or some
Sona was
Sensian.
his
God bless you.
assistant, and Matt was
Gesundheit.
a guy that would go around and he would, he would do podcasting for people who would help set him up and run the engineering and that kind of stuff. And he's essentially the third person on the show with them at this point.
I say go for it,
Yeah, I'm all for it too.
Yeah, man. I'm not hating, but I think it's going to be a funny little series to watch on HBO Max, which to me it's kind of funny that that's where it's landing, but I guess they have been known in the past anyway for stand-up and comedy.
Oh yeah,
Netflix just kind of took it over.
Oh my God, why can't I think of his name?
Bravo?
No, not the.
Yeah, that guy.
The black comedian Murphy.
Eddie
Eddie Murphy.
Murphy, yes.
Eddie Murphy had his specials on there. George Carlin, a lot of the great.
HBO
Yes.
used to
Jack
be
Black.
the place for
Yeah.
comedy
George
specials.
Carlin, you said,
Yeah,
right?
way back in the day, Sam Kinison, like a lot of the greats had their HBO specials.
Andrew Dice Clay.
Andrew Dice Clay.
Yep.
Dice
Man,
Man.
he disappeared.
He's still around. I think he's back into the club scene. A lot of
Yeah.
comics have come to the conclusion of, you know what, I don't want a television show. I don't want a sitcom. I just want to do comedy.
Yeah.
And it's
Pauly Shore's doing comedy.
it's
again.
kind of done. He's always been doing
I
it.
hate his interviews.
The-
Let me tell you something.
The thing is, he's
I-
never actually gone away.
He's a douche.
He
is
just
a douchebag.
stayed a club comic.
Have you ever listened to his interviews? Half of the time I shut him off. The other half of the time I'm like, why do people keep inviting you back? Oh, yeah, that's right. Mitzi Shore was your mom.
Yep, that's it.
And she did right by all of these comedians.
So they
and
have
she left a
loyalty.
legacy behind where it's like you could still have your foot in the door because, man, there was one time where
I do not think Pauly Shore's funny.
No, I don't think he's funny at all.
I haven't seen anything from him in a long time.
The only thing I liked about him was when he went on the Joey Diaz podcast, and Joey Diaz gave him so much edibles that in the middle of the podcast, he had to leave because he was too fucked up to continue the podcast. Joey Diaz proceeded to finish the podcast and talk shit about Pauly Shore while he was there laying on the couch like
Joey is
passed
a
out.
fucking animal.
He's like,
man.
Joey Diaz may be up there, in my opinion, with Theo Vaughn as one of the funniest human beings.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Joey Diaz is
authentically
unbelievable.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, like unapologetically, authentically him and funny for
His
all of the right
stories
reasons.
from his life. He just tells a story. I can't fucking breathe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And like he'll say shit like, "Yeah, I kidnapped the motherfucker in my youth, and I found him on Facebook. I tried to apologize.
Invited him to the show.
and he didn't want to come. I don't know why he didn't want to come, Joey. Maybe because you kidnapped him at a certain point.
He talks about how he tried to rob this gay dude in Central Park that was running at night.
Yeah.
He jumped out of a tree. Him and his buddy, two guys tried to jump this dude, and the guy beat the shit out of him. He said he was like a fucking kung fu master. He said this guy fucked me and my boy up, lit us up, like just beat the living shit.
There
out
are
of us.
videos of Joey Diaz doing the whole kung fu bit. I forget what he calls it, but
Oh yeah.
it's fucking hilarious, man.
Well, he's funny. He's a funny guy. I mean,
Yeah.
he's done some shit in his life.
Yeah.
He's definitely made a lot of mistakes, but I'm glad he's doing as well as he's doing. Joey Diaz is so damn funny.
Yeah.
But Texas is huge for comedy now.
Austin particularly.
Just for Rogan moving out there, the amount of people that have gotten tired of how insular LA is and the way that you have to follow
Those
100% of their social guidelines, otherwise you're not allowed to work. And all the comics that are just coming back around to like, I just want to do comedy, and they're just leaving it behind.
Well,
And it's allowing them to be much more free in their comedy that they do, because they're like, I'm not going to let myself be constrained by what I have to do to get a television show, because honestly, a podcast and the telling the comedy is paying the bills.
yeah, I think New York and California, people are leaving in an exodus as it is. So.
They suffered a great deal in the pandemic, and then on top of those things like gentrification in New York, killing a lot of the housing market and
taxes,
There's a lot-
homelessness.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
people from LA
Yeah.
pushing to move some of Hollywood essentially to Texas.
Yeah.
They're like, we
can
want
see
to
it.
move over there. Like they're holding more out of our values, and we're tired of having to placate your values to be allowed to work.
Yeah. I heard that they were going to be doing Brokeback Mountain 2 out there. Ian's signed up for one of the roles there as an
I
extra.
am. I'm trying to be the third cowboy in that tent.
Thank you for joining us on the Sofa Kingdom podcast, where Ian apparently is the third cowboy in the tent.
Why? You wouldn't want to be in between Heath and Jake Gyllenhaal?
No, I
Oh,
would
maybe not Heath. Maybe not Heath now.
I mean, that's gonna be one hell of a stench if they
he-
dig him up and
he's been marinating
and
for-
bring him
yeah.
back. Yeah, it's
Those
gonna-
type of videos are not legal.
Yeah, he's
No.
stewing right now. There's no bringing him back, sir.
Doing or is he dry aging?
I mean, the smell would be like a stewing, dry.
Was he cremated or was he buried?
Yeah. You out there, you let us know. Was he cremated? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, or just shade. Just message us
Yeah.
on the side and tell us
Yeah.
how wrong we were.
Do you prefer like a Heath stew or a Heath jerky? Like
Heath
what-
jerky.
Yeah.
You know what? Heath jerky.
Heath jerky.
Yeah.
That's not the name of the episode.
That's the name of the fucking.
Heath is a
episode.
good candy bar. It's very
It is a good-
underrated.
It is. It
Especially
actually
with
is.
ice cream.
So is a Baby Ruth. Baby Ruth is a great fucking candy bar.
Talking about beef jerky, and then you're like, Heath is a good candy bar. You have no soul, sir. You have no soul.
being in the